ever heard of rejection sensitive dysphoria? RSD. What does that even mean? In this video, I'm going to give you what RSD is, how it's related to ADHD, and I hope that you stick with me till the end because I have a tip that you can use in your life today. Okay, if you're like me, you have never once heard of rejection sensitive dysphoria. I knew it was present in my life, and now that I have a name for it, I am so relieved to know that I'm not just oversensitive, and knowing that it's part of my ADHD and the wiring in my brain has made a huge impact on my self-esteem. Let me define it for you. RSD, or rejection sensitive dysphoria, the emotional response to perceived or real failure or criticism that can be debilitating. The wiring in the brain of someone with ADHD means this is not controllable on our own. Let me read this fact to you. Stimuli can trigger the central nervous system differently in people with ADHD, potentially changing how they perceive and respond to rejection. You can react to criticism or perceived criticism. Someone gives you a look, right? You know the look. And turns out they were just thinking about something that was totally unrelated, but you took it personally. Or failure, perceived or real failure. It is not just being oversensitive. Especially women, I need you to hear this, because women are often labeled emotional or hormonal or, oh, must be the time of the month or whatever. This is actually your brain lifting the limits and the filters that say, hey, you're going a little too far with this, and you just blah. So these reactions can be either internalized, turning extra sad or depressed or moody, withdrawing from the situation. How many runners do I have out there? Or you freeze and withdraw mentally from the situation, okay? Or it can be external reaction. So aggressive outbursts of anger, maybe even rage. And it's not that boys are one way and girls are the other. They can both exist in the same person. So I'll give you some examples of that. Oh, text messaging is the worst because it's just words. I hyperanalyze your actions and the tone of voice and your looks or non-looks. I hyperanalyze all of it. So that's where the perceived rejection comes in. I overuse emojis and GIFs to make sure you know what my feelings are. I would encourage anybody to do some sort of video messaging or live interactions. Use GIFs. GIFs are great. That reminds me, you just got a tip that you can use right now. But stay tuned to the end for a real life tip. And if you're getting value out of this video, please like and make sure to comment any questions you have or aha moments that you're having. One of the main places this shows up is overworking because of perfectionism. In relationships, try to do everything right and be a people pleaser so that I was not stirring up anything. I don't want to push them away. And near the performance, I would get wound so tight that I would have some of these outbursts because I'm so worried about the audience's rejection. Why is no one talking about this? It's not officially part of ADHD, but man, if you have ADHD, you are so prone to this rejection sensitivity. I talked to my doctor about it. She was like, oh yeah, that's totally common. Why is no one talking about this? I didn't even know it was a thing. So there's that for you. It's a thing. Okay, we've gotten for the real life tip. You've hung in there with me. Thank you. And here we go. Out of the book of John, 18 is where Christ is arrested. And people start coming up to Peter and saying, hey, didn't you know that guy that's being arrested? Weren't you with him? I don't know the guy. I don't know who you're talking about. He denies Christ 3 times out of fear of rejection from the crowd. And here's the beautiful thing, folks. Christ did not reject Peter, even when he was denied. But here's how Jesus responded, and this is the truth for us today. After breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? Yes, Lord, Peter replied. You know I love you. Jesus gave Peter a chance to make up for it, to say what he really meant. And I can relate to that someone with ADHD, things come out of my mouth and I don't mean them. I literally don't think them until they come out of my mouth. And then I regret it and I beat myself up. But here's Jesus. He knows that about Peter. Maybe Peter had ADHD. I don't know. But he knows that about Peter. And after Christ was risen from the dead, he didn't reject Peter. He gives him not just one chance to say, I love you, Jesus, and reverse the denial, but 3 chances because he denied him 3 times. But the 3rd time that Jesus asks, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Peter was grieved that Jesus asked the question a 3rd time. That perceived rejection is there. His heart is hurting like, Lord, you know everything. You know I love you. But did Peter show it before? So he's giving Peter a chance to live it and show it. So the tip you can put into your life right now is to look to Jesus, because he will never reject you. So if you want to learn more, click on the screen right now and I will take you further to acquire wisdom, acquire understanding, and following Jesus. Thank you. God bless.